Hi guys, welcome back to your Not So Ordinary Scrapbook channel. So today's video might be a long one because of the fact that I want to get this done. So it's around dinner time. We ate a big lunch because Scott decided to barbecue some chicken on the grill, and we were gonna have it last night. It wasn't thought out fully, so we had something else, and he had to work today and he wanted to take some in his lunch. So while I was gone for a while this morning, he threw that chicken on the grill, and so we had our big meal at lunchtime. And so I have all this free time. I was done with my last client at 3, and so now I don't have any classes to do for a long time. I got my copy of my new credential certificate from Provider Connections. They sent it over, so I received that, and I'm good to go till December 31st, so that's awesome. And my classes, I need 11 more. I thought I only needed 10. I need 11 more assessment course credits, and then I need 0.25 intervention. I thought I was completely done with intervention. Apparently I was 0.25 short. So those have to be completed by September of 2026. So I have plenty of time to do that. I'm still signed up for the 3 courses this summer, which will bring me down to only 1 assessment credit that I will need. And that will be super easy to fill. So now I feel like I can breathe again. I can go walking with my friend Michelle because she's been asking me, and I'm like, okay, as soon as this gets done and I'm done with all these requirements, then I can start walking with you again. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, things are looking up. I found out from Hunter. I was talking to Hunter, and Scott has been working late. Hunter has had to work late too, apparently, and he has seen him. So my mind playing tricks on me again. So you know how your mind kind of runs wild with things, especially if you've been hurt in the past and you want to believe them, and it's hard. So that is all good right now. Things seem to be calm. I'm preparing for Aria's first birthday party. So Yesenia has been sending me like different things that she wants for the birthday party, and so we're gonna get that going. And Jordan just graduated from college with her bachelor's degree, so that's exciting. So this weekend I'm not working on Friday, so I rescheduled my Friday client for tomorrow, so I'm going to see her tomorrow, and at 3:30. And yeah, and so for Friday we're not really going to do anything. I think Scott and I are going to have a cookout here, but the kids aren't going to it because her side of the family is having this big thing at her grandparents' house, and then her brother bought a bunch of fireworks in Missouri or something, and they're gonna light those off. But Saturday is Clinton fireworks, so we told them that we could come up there for the Clinton fireworks and see that. And we have Esme this weekend, or Hunter and Jordan have Esme this weekend, so that's exciting. So we'll get to experience 4th of July with her, and maybe we'll stop at like a little fireplace booth and pick up a few more fireworks or sparklers or something. Actually, they have those big, giant, long sparklers left over from their wedding. I should mention that to Jordan. That that we should get those out because we bought way too many for the wedding, and we decided, you know, they decided that they would just save them for 4th of July. They're like 3-foot long sparklers, so they'll last a long time. But this is how this page turned out with on Christmas Day. So I made this shaker pocket. That was the last thing that I did. And then here's Christmas morning, right when Jordan and Esme got here. Esme wasn't supposed to be here Christmas morning. Her mom was supposed to, or Hunter was supposed to drop her off Christmas Eve, and then her mom called and said, can you keep Esme till the afternoon of Christmas Day? And Hunter said yes. And so Jordan got her all dressed up really pretty in this pretty dress that she picked out. And here's Jordan with his little button, his communication button that he can do by himself. And Jordan recorded Merry Christmas on there. And so Jordan was hitting it and saying Merry Christmas. So it was really sweet. And then here's Aria's Christmas picture. And she has the best smile. That little girl, I tell you what, cutest smile ever. She looks just like her daddy. Oh my gosh. I mean, she looks like Yesenia too. Yesenia calls her mini-me, which I don't know what Yesenia looked like as a baby. But this complexion here, this really like soft complexion, and like the cheeks, that's matte. This is matte. The smile is matte. She definitely has Yesenia's shape of eyes, but she has blue eyes. And Yesenia's are like between a hazel and a brown. And but one thing that was really interesting is she took a picture with Aria and her grandma, who is Hispanic, and because it was her grandma's birthday, so it would be Aria's great grandma, and her grandma has blue hazel eyes. So that makes sense why Aria got blue eyes, was because of Yesenia's grandma, and then Matt has blue eyes. So that's really neat how that all worked out. You can't really see it here because her eyes are dark in this picture, but her eyes are definitely blue. Really pretty blue. So we're going to do the back. We're going to work on like all this stuff. And I'm going to, like I said, my goal is to get this done tonight, so we can be done with this and I can start scrapbooking summer photos. We can make a summer page kit, and oh my goodness, yes. I've never done 2 December dailies back to back before. Like, I'm always done by this time, and crazy as it sounds, this year, just busyness and like working, and I think I was working actually 2 jobs. I was working both jobs when I finished my last December daily, and then I went straight into this one because I was so far behind. But we had a lot going on. I mean, this year was just crazy. So, you know, especially with like, I didn't expect that after graduating grad school, that I would have to do a whole bunch of training courses for whatever profession that I went into. I thought that that was it, which was really naive of me, because I feel like I was really ignorant in that department. Because I didn't know that. But that was the case. And so from all of December, January, I was taking courses. And then I thought my credential had to be, like, those requirements had to be fulfilled by June 30th. So, like, that was going on in the back of my head. And so, I mean, I'm not sad that, like, I didn't understand, like, what that, all entailed. I mean, at the time I was stressed out, there's a lot going on, and then, learning a new job and seeing clients, and then still taking training courses and all that stuff. I mean, it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, and I was overwhelmed, and then we had a death in the family, and then, no, do I want this like right across the back or across it and then like, I don't know. Some really cute rub-ons that I should probably use up. These are all gingerbread. That should be cute for breakfast. But I'm thinking I should put them on white and then cut them out. Just scrap piece of paper. Like if I cut that off. And there's this too. Maybe I'll just put this down it like that. Oh, that's basil, so I'll go that way. So, I mean, I've been busy, and this is a hobby that just kind of has to take the back burner sometimes. But I'm glad. Oh my gosh, I have the rest of the summer off other than seeing clients and, writing reports, and, I have one kiddo that has a 6-month review, and then next month I have one kiddo that's going to age out of the system. So, which I knew from the start that he was going to be short term, but that's okay. That's just how it works out, and they just, and then I have a new one starting up soon, so it's going. So I will still have to bring my laptop to Arizona though, because one of the courses that I signed up to take, that's Zoom, is going to take place while I am in Arizona, actually the day before Aria's birthday party. Not the best timing, but what did I do with my scissor? I just had it, and now it's disappeared. That is never ideal. Well, I guess we're just going to use these big ones. I don't know about you guys, but like I lose my tools. And like when I'm wise and like on top of it, I set them up there instead of letting it get buried in my stuff. Because that's what happens. It gets buried and then I can't find it. And that's a little frustrating. Oh, here they are. See? They're right here. So I'm going to set them up there so I don't lose them again. Okay, so this is breakfast. I saw this Pinterest, like a breakfast charcuterie board with hash browns, waffles, sausage, cinnamon rolls, biscuits, bacon, and then fruit, eggs, donuts, the whole thing, kebabs and all that stuff. And I saw it on Pinterest and I was like, oh, I'm going to make that. So that's what I did. I just took out our turkey tray and just made like a breakfast charcuterie. And I really liked it. Like, I think I'm going to do this every year because it worked out really well. None of us were hungry until it was dinner time. And like I said, this year I did not cook dinner. Like, Scott's mom always asks, like, it's kind of a traditional thing for her to get like a meat and cheese tray. But like, we've done that for like, oh my gosh, 20 years or more. Like the meat and cheese tray for Christmas. And I'm not complaining because it's always nice and there's always tons of leftovers. Like we have meat and cheese left over for months. You know, I throw it in the freezer, you know, because there's just so much of it. And it all gets eaten, you know, by the end of the year. You know, or not the end of like that year, but like it all gets eaten by Christmas the next year, you know. Oh, that was the end piece. That's trash. We're gonna have to pull apart another one. There. So this year, I told Scott, I'm like, I really want to just do pizza. So on Christmas Eve, was it Christmas Eve or the day before? No, it was the day before Christmas Eve. We went and we got Papa Murphy's pizza, which I don't know if y'all know what Papa Murphy's pizza is, but it's like a place that you can go and they make pizza. Like, you order your pizza and they make it and then you bake it at home. And we love Papa Murphy's pizza. It's like one of our favorite pizzas to get. And they sell great big family size ones. So we just bought 4 of those. And we, of course, had leftover appetizers from Christmas Eve. Because we always do appetizers on Christmas Eve. And we had the pizza and it was perfect. And I made a big Caesar salad. I just bought a bunch of Caesar salad bag salads. And it was perfect. And I think that's going to be our new tradition, is having pizza. It was so easy to throw in pizza, you know, and everybody, like, you know, you're kind of sick of appetizers. You're just kind of hungry for something different. And pizza fits the bill. I mean, I think it's a fantastic Christmas dinner, you know, and so I think we're going to do that every year. Now next year for cinnamon rolls, like these are just like Pillsbury bake your own cinnamon rolls. There's a place in Bloomington, this bakery that's downtown, that my friend Michelle and I went to. Or she likes to go there. And she took me there. And it was the best cinnamon rolls I ever had in my life. They were so big. They were huge. And they were so good. And she said that you always have to order early because they sell out at Christmas time. And so we were going to do that one year. I don't know if I'm going to do the big ones. I think I'm going to do the boy and girl, the small one with the gingerbread house, because here's Corbin and here's Esme, and they're like the little gingerbread boy and little gingerbread girl. He's wearing green pajamas. He's wearing green. She's wearing a red dress. She's wearing a red dress. It just all kind of works. So that's what we're going to do. I don't know where these rub-ons are from. Like I've told you before, I have a lot of rub-ons that I'm trying to get rid of because they do dry out and they do they're one of those embellishments that just don't last a whole long time. And like these ones specifically are, oh gosh, these are early 2000s rub-ons. So they're extremely old. And so trying to use the stuff up before like they dry out. And I have had to the clear ones before, I've had to just cut out and then run it through my sticker maker and like use them that way. These are white on the back, so it wouldn't work to use them that way. So hopefully this will work and they're not dried out, and we can get this on here. Because I don't like to waste supplies, even if they're old supplies. My favorite thing to do is combining old and new. Oh, there's a few pieces that did not rub down. Oh, that piece didn't. Get that down again. There we go. Much better. Oh, that's not down. So if you start peeling it up and it's not sticking, you may have to go over it a few times so it all gets down where it's supposed to go. Looks good. So Scott and I, we started watching a new TV show last night. We've been watching Dexter. We're late to the game with Dexter because I didn't want to watch it just because it just sounded disgusting to me. Like, I didn't know what it was about. All I know was he was a serial killer and like he was fixated on blood. Matt watched it years ago, like when it first came out, and he told me, oh, it's so good, you should watch it. And I'm like, I am not interested in that whatsoever. And then we had watched, like a couple months ago, we had watched like all of our shows. We were like caught up on everything, you know, the ones that we normally watch. Like I finished Handmaid's Tale. I finished, we're caught up on The Pit. We're caught up on Tracker, you know. Like, so we're all caught up on, like, most of the shows that we watch, you know, until the next season. And so I'm like, you know, I'll try. We'll try. Like, one thing Scott and I do, like, we'll try it, a TV series. So we'll try it out. So like if we hear like from a friend or something, you know, that says, oh, this show is really good, we'll try an episode. And if it grabs us in the first episode, then we'll watch it. Sometimes it takes us a couple tries before we like actually are like into it, you know. Like Stranger Things, we had to start it like 3 times before we got into it, and then we were really into it. Same thing with Walking Dead. It took us a while to get into that one. Ever After, is it Ever After? Or Once Upon a Time, that's it. Once Upon a Time, took a couple tries, and then we got into it. Never have watched Game of Thrones. My son Matt was super into Game of Thrones. In fact, so much that one year he wanted the whole book series for Christmas, so we bought him that. Never been into Bridgerton. Haven't started watching that, even though people say that it's great. And I loved Downton Abbey. Like, Downton Abbey was my thing. And I'm super excited about the new movie coming out. The final movie coming out. But, like, I just haven't. And it's not that I won't ever watch those shows. It's just that, like, right now, I'm just not. It's not my thing right now. Like, so we started watching Dexter and totally got into it, like, engaged right away. You know, cop show, forensic guy, you know, thing. Still have never watched that one show with the, like, guy who, the science teacher that sells drugs. I can't remember what his name is. Haven't ever watched that show. Not one episode. Matt watched it too. Matt was really into watching that one too when he was younger. And said that it was really good, but I never watched that one either. But there's time. I mean, there's time to watch all these shows now that you can binge watch them. Like Scott and I, we like to binge watch TV shows. So we'll just watch like one show until it's over. And then we move on to a different show. So I was watching a YouTube channel that I like to watch, and the girl said that her and her husband were watching the new TV show We Were Liars. And I own that book. Like, this book here, I own it. And I've never read it. Like, it's been sitting on my, I bought it. It's been sitting on my bookshelf for a couple years. Just, you know, I've just read other books. Haven't gotten to it yet. And didn't really know what it was about. I just had, you know, it had good reviews, so I bought it at the time. Probably bought it at Goodwill, actually. Like, I saw it and I bought it. Because I generally do that. Like, if I see a book that, like, I've heard good things about at Goodwill, I'll buy it. To read, like, in the future. Like, I have, one of my favorite authors is Sandra Brown. She's a murder mystery writer. And, I have found so many of her books at Goodwill. And I have almost a whole library of her books that, you know, every once in a while I'll read them. Kind of in between. I kind of switch genres. In the summertime, I like light beach reads. And then, like, in the fall, I like murder mysteries. And, like, Christmas, I like Christmas theme books. Winter is kind of my murder mystery time of year. See, that didn't even all come off. It doesn't look too bad, but I wonder if I can line this up to get this all on here. I don't know. We'll try it. Like I said, this is old. I mean, it kind of looks like snow if it doesn't all come off. Yeah, it's not wanting to come off. I mean, that's not perfect. I could just put some glue and, like, put glitter on those white spots. I might do that because I have some Martha Stewart glitter. I might do that to make that look a little bit better. So I was watching this YouTube channel that I watch. Carissa, you probably have seen her TikTok videos. She does, like, cooking. She's kind of a chef for her family, which I've tried some of her recipes, and I'm telling you, they're good. They're really good. But I like her personality. Anyway, she was talking about that her and her husband started watching the TV series We Were Liars. And I immediately thought, oh my gosh, I have that book. You know, and then, so last night, we were watching Dexter. We watched about, like, 4 episodes of Dexter. And because Scott had off last night, he had a doctor's appointment. So he requested off yesterday afternoon so he could go to this doctor's appointment for his upcoming surgery. He has to have this cyst removed off of his neck, and then they're going to do like a biopsy of it and see what it is. But I gather it's pretty big from what he said. He said that it's mostly like under, it's not like, you can't hardly feel it. Like, you can feel like a knot, like you can feel that there's like a hard, like, cyst under there, but it doesn't seem very big. But when they did the MRI, I guess it's like almost baseball size. It's pretty big. So he has to have surgery in 2 weeks. So he had an appointment with the surgeon, and then I had to take Ethan to his doctor's appointment to get his ears cleaned out. Second try. I couldn't find any earwax softener because the doctor had told him that his wax was too hard in his ears and it was too close to the eardrum, so that he should get some earwax softener. Well, I looked at Walmart, couldn't find it. They didn't have any earwax softener, and they just had like earwax cleaner. I didn't know if it was the same thing. So I went on Pinterest and I wondered if there was like, someone had told me at some point in time in my life that olive oil like softens earwax. And I had never tried it before, but like, so I thought, well, maybe there's a DIY like earwax softener. So there was, and one of them was to use tea tree oil mixed with olive oil and then drop it in their ears. So I did. I started it I forgot about it. And like Friday, I told Ethan, I'm like, we need to soften your earwax because you have to go back on Monday. And so I made this concoction of tea tree oil, which I have a lot of essential oils. I don't use them all the time, but like I went through like a period of time where like I was into diffusing oil and stuff. I really don't do that anymore. Not that I don't like it. I mean, I think that it's fine and it smells good, and you know, like mostly I like adding it to stuff. Like I will add it to like bubble bath. I'll add essential oils to like unscented body butter, or sometimes I'll just like drop some into the tub, like if I'm gonna take a bath, that kind of stuff. I mean, like mostly I use it to just like add scent or something to like to like my bath or whatever. And so I had some tea tree oil anyway already on hand, and I always have olive oil on hand because I cook with olive oil most of the time. So I made it, and I had a little like pipette like dropper thing, and so I have white that might work. I don't know if I have ivory. If I have ivory, that might work even better, but this is just Martha Stewart glitter, the super fine glitter. I've had this for years. I think I just have white. I have silver. Yeah, I'll choose white. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use, like, I have these glue pens. These are Quickie Glue. And I don't know if this is dried out, though. This stuff dries out super fast. It's usually blue. No, it's working. Yeah, it's coming out. Usually it comes out blue, and then And then when it dries clear. But it's like a pen. So you can get in, like if you want to write with glitter or anything like that. But I'm just going to put it all over here. Like wherever there's, I might like go around the border a little bit just to make it look more cohesive. A little bit on top. Okay, and then I need to move this, and then I need this. There we go. Sprinkle that all on top. I mean, it looks okay. I mean, I guess it looks like snow. It's not perfect, but I like it well enough. That's okay. Okay, so this, you just pour in. Oh. Looks like I oh, there's a little bit of gold in there. That was not what I wanted. Oh well. Glitter, it just keeps giving. Okay. So we're gonna put that back. Okay. And I have some glitter glue. I wonder if that would work. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go get something real quick. Camera. There is something stuck in this. I wonder if I have a needle to get this unstuck. Yeah, quick. Oh, this will work. Oh, that came out faster than I wanted it to. Goodness gravy. Man. That came out crazy fast. Wow. I was trying to fix my fine liner glue bottle. And it came out super fast, all over the place. Where's the paper towel? I think I took the paper towels. That is not good. Do I have a wipe or something? My trash can is super, super duper full. Well, it is what it is. At least I got that cleaned off. Should probably wash my hands. Now I have fine liner glue all over my hands. Hopefully I didn't get it on my anniversary band. All right. Typical. Never trust a glue bottle. So I'm just going to cut these out. But anyways, so the olive oil and tea tree worked. I took him to the doctor yesterday. They were able to get all the wax out, so that's nice. He doesn't have to see a specialist. It softened all the wax, so it does work. And like I said, I only started using it on Friday. I put it in once on Friday, twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday, and then once on Monday morning. And it was nice and soft. So but then Scott went to his appointment. We took 2 separate vehicles because Ethan wanted to come home after his appointment. Straight home. So so I rode down with Ethan in his car, and then I met Scott at the doctor's office after he was done. So but when we got home, we made dinner, and after dinner, like, we were both pretty, like, tired. So we started watching Dexter, and we watched about 4 episodes. And I told him, I said, there's a new series that, you know, I told him about hearing about this new series, and he was, you know, he was game to watch 1 episode. I'm like, I have this book, and it's pretty cool. Like, you know, I've heard a lot of good things about this book, and I've always wanted to read it, you know, but haven't yet. And now they made it into a TV series, and I'm really excited to watch it. And so we watched it, and we really like it. It's really good. And I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know what the book was about when I bought the book. I just, it's definitely a summer type, Hamptons type read, New England story. And it's not about what you would think. You know, I kind of wondered what, like, We Were Liars was like, what was it about? But, like, you'll find out. Like, it's unbelievable. So, we watched about 3 episodes of that, and I was hooked. And I told Scott, I said, this is my next read. Like, I have to read this book now, because, you know, books are always more in depth than TV programs or movies. So that is definitely my next read, even though I had planned to read a Jenny Colgan book. I love Jenny Colgan, and I have read several of her books. She's probably one of my favorite, like, bookstore type authors. Like, her stories, I think I mentioned her in the last video, but I couldn't think of her name. But she is definitely a favorite, and I was able to, through Kindle Unlimited, I was able to check out a couple of those books. There's no time limit to return them. So I think I'm going to read We Were Liars first, and then I'll go straight into that. For one thing, it would be easier for me to just read Kindle on the plane when I fly out to Arizona. That way, like, it's just easier to read Kindle on the plane than it is to, like, bring an actual book. Because if I want to switch, I have several books on my Kindle. So instead of bringing a bunch of books, I can just bring my Kindle, and that'll work out fine. I mean, I like my Kindle all right. I think it has its purpose. I prefer a physical book over a digital book. I like turning pages. I like, the factor of like turning the last page type of thing in a book. Plus I have a little free library, so I like to put my books in my little free library when I'm done with them. But it has a purpose, So I don't know if I should put him here, because there's Corbin. I don't know what he's looking at there, or should I put him up here? Sticker there. Piece of letter or something. All right, I think I'm gonna put him up there. I was looking for Pop Dots, but I couldn't find any very quickly. So, boy, oh boy. So tomorrow I have 4 clients. It's going to be hairy tomorrow because I have an 11 to 12. I have a 1 to 2. I have a 3:30 to 4:30. And then I have a 5 to 6. That is going to be insane. So I definitely cannot run over on my 3:30 to 4:30 because it will take me at least 20 minutes to drive to Mason City for my 5 o'clock. But that's going to be wild because it's going to be back to back to back. But at least it's not like early morning. It's like all afternoon. But I had to reschedule my Friday, and tomorrow is the only day that she can really do it. So I rescheduled my Friday. Okay, that is done, I think. I think I want to put like something. 25 is gone. I mean, I do have December 25 here. Do I want to put it on the house? Well, that's not going to show up very well. Because that's where it hooks. What else can I do to like build up that cluster? I mean, this green works. Like if I were to cut this off, I mean, I don't care if our outlet cover is covered up. I can't really like, oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna rip the photo if I put this under this. Don't rip. If I did it like that. I put that there. And then I might be able to use some white rub-on letters. Okay. There we go. So I can still use that tag again. Okay. And then I'm gonna do, is there numbers in here? I wonder. I think these are just all letters. It says alphabet. Maybe I put, what if I put eat? Like just eat across here. That might work. So up an A. And an E. And then a T. I found so many of these Making Memories alphabet rub-ons at thrift stores in so many different colors, and I love them. Like, if I can find like these and they're not like dried out or anything, that makes me happy. So I'm gonna just do eat here. The cool thing about a rub-on is you can go over 2 layers and it still looks pretty cool. So I've been painting with my kiddos this week because it's 4th of July week. And I found I like to do a holiday craft like the week of the holiday. It's just something fun that, and then the parents have like a piece of artwork or whatever. Plus it's good for their development to like do crafts and stuff like that. So I found this craft on Instagram. I follow a bunch of occupational therapists and physical therapists on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, all those places, just because developmental therapy covers all the domains. So it covers all of the, gross motor and fine motor are both big parts of developmental therapy. Those kind of activities work for us too. So I found this craft where you cut slits in toilet paper rolls, and then the child picks out 3 different colors of paint, and I have the kids name the colors before, like if they're verbal, and I have them name the colors, or we go over the colors. And then I have them pick their 3 favorite colors. And then I put it on a paper plate, just like a small dot of the paint. And then they dip it. I flatten out the slits that I made in the toilet paper roll, and then they like stamp it in the paint. Like they rub it around in the paint, and then they stamp it on some watercolor paper, and they make fireworks. And that's what we've been doing this week. It wasn't my idea. Like it wasn't my, like it came from Instagram, but I am using that idea with my clients this week. I don't know. Do I have a 25th for here? I feel like I need to put a 25 here too. Am I running out of numbers, stickers? Oh, this was, what in the world? This is the other day. That needs to go in there too. Yeah, this is Christmas Eve. I don't know why that was sitting there. Is there any more? I don't know how that got in there. Okay, this is Christmas Eve. I'm gonna do, this doesn't say 24 anywhere. So I'm gonna do this one here. Or do I want to do it? I'll just do that. Yeah, that looks good there for the 24th. Oh, I know. I glued that and I was waiting for it to dry. Okay, and then 25. Let's see, is there 25 here? 25, yes, there is. So I can put, all right, but I need a tweezer because these little numbers I can never get straight. So I'm gonna put it like right here. So that's a craft. And then I made up a poem or a finger play to go with it. Because I like to like have something to go along with like whatever craft we're doing. So the finger play I made up was firework, firework up in the sky. Hold on a second. That's not right either. Goodness. Okay, firework, firework up in the sky, sparkling lights on the 4th of July. And then it says, first they go up and then they come down. Sprinkling light or sprinkling colors all through town. So that's basically what, it's just a little one. But we like to, developmentally, we like to teach them up and down. And all those things. I don't know why, but that's bugging me. I don't know why that's bugging me. So anyways, all 4 clients tomorrow I'm going to have to use that with. I think that the 1-year-old can do it. It's not really a messy craft. I brought, like, today, well, the 2 that I've used it with so far this week, neither one of them have gotten any paint on them. I did bring wipes with me. If they get a little bit of paint on their fingers, there's just not a lot of paint that I put on the paper plate. And it's turned out well so far. This morning, the infant that I was going to see, who they ended up in the ER late last night, and so they had to cancel because they didn't get home until the wee hours of the morning. But I was going to do something different with her. I was going to, generally when I paint with the infants, what I do is I put a piece of watercolor paper inside of a baggie, and then I'll drop like 3 colors in there, and then I spread their hand out over the plastic baggie and like have them press down. And that's what I was gonna have her do to like make the fireworks. I could do that with the 1-year-old tomorrow. Actually, I have 2 1-year-olds tomorrow. But I really think that they could actually do the toilet paper thing. I really think that they could do that without an issue. So, because it's not really that hard. You're basically rubbing it in the paint and then just like stamping it down. So it's not really, and if it's guided, like, I think that they'll be able to do it without making a mess. So, we'll see. I'll decide tomorrow morning, what I'm going to do that route, if I'm going to do, you know, it that way. Actually, I have 3 1-year-olds tomorrow. I have 3 1-year-olds and 1 2-year-old. I know the 2-year-old will be able to do it. I think the 1-year-olds can do it. It's just that the infant is an infant. I mean, so that child would not be able to do it. But okay, so we have, this is the 24th. Okay, that's the last of that. So I'm gonna do, this is the 24th. That can go here now. Okay. And then we'll do this. And then we'll do this one. Right? And then we'll do this right here. Okay, we're getting there. This is getting full. That's why I'm saying I want to get this done. Okay, so that's breakfast. Oh wait, this is Christmas Eve. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is Christmas Eve because that's cookies for Santa. That's Christmas Eve too. Okay. So we need to backtrack. Christmas Day. How am I gonna... This should be 24, not 25. All right, I'm going to take this off, if it'll come off without ripping. Because this is confusing me. This is Christmas Eve night, after everybody went home. Because nothing is opened. And I can tell it's evening. So, we're going to take this 25 off. Okay, just gonna stick this here temporarily. Okay, now 24 should go here, and then we need to put this one here. There. That's better. All right. I didn't even really like, I feel like this one's really plain. I don't know if I should put Last Christmas. I don't know. There is like a big stinking fly in here crawling around. I feel like it's old. Like, I don't know if it broke its wing or what. No, it's fine. It's gross though. It's bothering me. Get out of here. It's like flying slow. Like, you know when flies get old and they just start like, I don't know. Like they start moving slow, like it, I don't know, reincarnated from last summer or something in here. But I don't like it. It's big. It's like one of those black flies that bite. We get those outside. I did learn something from Jordan, like last weekend when we were over for the cookout. On her porch, she had a dish with burnt coffee on it, like burnt coffee grounds. And I said, what in the world is that for? And she said that if you burn like coffee that has not been brewed, it's just like a tablespoon or two of coffee, ground coffee, it keeps mosquitoes away. I had never heard of it before, but I'm willing to try it because I literally cannot stand mosquitoes. I don't like flies either, especially black flies that bite. I think they're almost worse than mosquitoes. We need to get a bug zapper for Outback to kill those stinking flies. But it's not really that season yet. Like, they're not bad yet. They usually get really bad in August. Around here anyway. Okay, so where are we now? We have got some more pictures. So these are my pages. I've got like a pocket page, a couple pocket pages. All right, so the pictures that I picked out. Okay, so for Christmas morning, like I said, I only really picked out like one picture per person. I should probably do me next because that was me Christmas morning waiting for everyone to come over. What will match good with my outfit? Kind of like that. Okay. I look a hot mess because it's morning. Just woke up. Waiting for kids to come over. Do you guys wake up early in the morning on Christmas? We do not. Like, even when the kids were little, our kids like to sleep. Like, sleep in. I remember being little and getting up fairly early. I wouldn't say probably before 7, but that was fairly early. Now, my brother, I remember my brother coming into my room at like 4 o'clock in the morning saying Santa came and like he was going to wake up mom and dad. And I said, no, that's too early. And he would go up there and wake up mom and dad. And mom and dad would say, go back to bed. It's too early. But I don't really recall Jenny and I doing that. I mean, we may have. I just don't remember, but I do remember my brother doing it. He's used to be the pretty comedic kid. Always the one that made us laugh. There's some green. I could try that. It's like my Christmas scrap bin. I don't know if it's big enough though. Unless should I trim it? Yeah, I should probably trim some of this off. Here's my paper trimmer so it's straight. But our kids loved to sleep. And even when they were little, it was like 10 o'clock before we ever got started on Christmas. And it would just like last all day. And honestly, I did not mind at all. And it's still the same way. Jordan and Hunter like to sleep in. You know, that's like, everybody works. So it's like, when do you ever get to sleep in? So they do, but what they do is they do their Christmas at home before they come over here. And we used to do that too. Like, when the kids were young, we found that it was like, Scott had a disabled brother and has a disabled uncle that lives with his mom right now. His brother passed away a couple of years ago. But they did not understand why the little kids got more presents than them. Because in their mind, they thought that they should have as many presents as the kids. And they didn't seem to understand when we tried to explain it to them that, like, the kids get toys and, you know, and so, like, there would be some behavior sometimes, like throwing fits. I mean, they always got a lot, don't get me wrong. You know, they were not slighted in the least. It's just that they seemed to, like, not understand why the little kids were getting all kinds of toys, and, you know, they didn't get it. So, Scott and I talked to his mom, and we told her it might be a better idea if, like, you guys do your Christmas at home, and then we'll pick you up after, and we'll do our Christmas aside from you guys' gifts, before you guys come over, and then you guys come over and you bring your gifts for us, and we'll do our gifts for you guys when you come over, you know. And that seems to work out really, really well. Like, we've been doing that since long before Brian passed away, probably for the past 15 years we've been doing it that way. And then now that the kids are grown, we still do it for Bobby's sake, because Bobby doesn't understand. And he's an uncle. It's like, how do you explain to an uncle, you know, that is 67 years old, that, you know, like, the grandkids are getting a bunch of toys and presents, and, like, they're getting, like, 5 things like all the grown-ups do. You know, it's, so we generally do the grandkids first. You know, we just kind of let them have take over Christmas first thing, and then we kind of do the older people last after they're playing with their toys and stuff like that. It just seems to work the best. You know, because we don't want anyone to feel bad on Christmas. That would suck, you know. So, although I do think that even though Brian like seemed like he was much more mature than Bobby, sometimes I think that Bobby is a little more with it than Brian was, but you know, everybody's unique. It's just, you just never know. You know, you can't say, oh, you know, he's smarter than he, or that's why I never like it when, and my mother-in-law does this, and my father-in-law used to do this, and my husband does this too. Like, comparative age, that always bugs me. Like, you can't give it a number. You can't say, oh yeah, they're like a third grader. They're like a, you know, like Scott used to say about his brother that he was like an 8-year-old, you know, in an adult body, you know, but Brian never learned how to read, so I don't know that he was even that old. And he always said that Bobby was like a 5-year-old. An adult body, and I can see that somewhat in some ways, but Brian always had more behaviors than Bobby did. Like, I never really saw Bobby blow up at anybody. Brian would throw a fit. Like, Brian could throw a holy rolling fit if he didn't get his way, but he was spoiled like a lot too. Scott, even though Scott was the youngest, he like had to take care of Brian like growing up, and was never allowed to like go anywhere after school because his mom and dad worked, and so he had to be there. His brother went to a special school, and so he had to be home when Brian got off, you know, the bus, and he couldn't go over to play at friend's house, you know, because he had to stay with Brian. And their family is kind of old-fashioned in the respect that like they don't, like, even now that they're adults, or you know, like even when Brian was alive, and Bobby definitely, you know, is still here with us, but like they have like workshop for people with disabilities in our town. They have lots of programs for people with disabilities, but my mother-in-law never let them go. Like, she was like, oh, we don't do that, you know. And I never understood why, because Bobby and Brian are very social people. Like, they liked going to church, and they liked hanging out with people. But she never would let them go, even though they were invited to go many times. And they really never got out very much. I mean, they always were very sheltered and like sat around and watched TV all day. And I just thought, you know, they could have experienced so much more of life if they had been given the freedom to go places. And that's how it was for Scott. Like, he couldn't go anywhere growing up because he always had to stay home with Brian, and Brian couldn't go anywhere. You know, Brian had to stay home. You know, and maybe that was a protective measure. If they knew that Brian was at home, he was safe. But I don't know. But I know that Scott did not get to experience life like other people did. He always had to be like on the watch for his brother. And then when Bobby came to live with them, which I kind of felt, it feels really bad to say this, but like we kind of felt that Bobby was kind of dumped on us, because Bobby was living with Scott's aunt for the longest time after their mom died. He went to live with his sister in Kentucky, and he lived there for a really long time. And we were invited down to a baby shower, Scott's cousin's baby shower, and one year, and we went down there, and like they pretty much bombarded us and told us we had to take Bobby back with us, because it wasn't working, and you know, they were afraid that he was going to get abused and by a family member that lived down there, just because they were short-tempered, and like he was beginning to irritate them, and so that was like, we didn't know. I mean, Barb is the type of person who does not make decisions like lightly, like ever. And when her sister tried to get her to do it, she's like, I don't know what, because Scott's dad was alive then. And she's like, I need to talk to him about it. And they're like, they really pressured her really hard to the point where she didn't even tell her husband that he was coming home with us. And he was kind of mad about it. But Bobby's lived here with her ever since. You know, he's passed away. Like, Scott's dad passed away a few years after that. And then, you know, so Bobby's been a big help. Like, as far as, like, and I don't know what Barb would be doing if Bobby wasn't there. Like, she is definitely a caregiver. Like, that's just her personality. She was Scott's dad's caregiver. Then when he passed away, then she was Brian's caregiver. Or she's always been Brian's caregiver. And then she, now that Brian's gone, now she's Bobby's caregiver. And it's like, I personally don't want to be a caregiver forever. I know that Bobby talks about, like, if anything should happen to his sister, that he will come live with us. And I know it's sad to say, but, like, he's 67. Like, I really don't want Scott's uncle living with us. You know, I really don't. I don't care if that's how their family does it. I care about Bobby. I love him, but I don't. There's nobody else in the family that could take him, you know, but he's extremely social. I think he would do fine in a home. This is Bobby right here. We used to go to church with them after Scott's dad passed away. A lot of people thought that he was Scott's mom's husband, like that he was Scott's dad, because Scott actually kind of looks like Bobby. He favors his mom's side of the family. Hunter actually favors his dad's side of the family. It's kind of funny how Ethan looks more like Scott, who favors his mom's side of the family. Hunter looks just like his grandpa Bill. Like, from the day Hunter was born, he looked like his grandpa Bill. Just pictures of Scott's dad, like when he was little, look a lot like Hunter when he was little. And then now that Hunter has a big beard like that and is built like that, he looks a lot like Scott's dad's twin brother. Okay, so I'm going to do this one of Ethan opening his nutcracker. Which, this is such a funny story because, okay, since Ethan was like 2 years old and in love with nutcrackers. That's what he would ask Santa for every year when he was little, was a nutcracker. And at first I was like, what do you want a nutcracker for? That's a Christmas decoration, you know. Don't you want a toy? And he's like, no, I want a nutcracker. I'm like, what are you going to do with a nutcracker? He's like, play with it. So we started getting him nutcrackers, and he was overjoyed. You know, we'd get him different themed ones, like, you know, like he would tell us every year, he'd be like, I want Santa to bring me a chef nutcracker. I want Santa to bring me a soldier nutcracker. And, you know, he was really, you know, very verbal about, like, once he was able to talk. He was kind of a late talker, but once he was able to talk, he would tell us what kind of nutcracker he wanted, and we would search and try to find it. And so he still has his nutcrackers on a shelf in his bedroom. They're all up there on display, like, since he just keeps adding to it. And, like, over the years since he's become an adult, we've bought nicer nutcrackers. Like, we'll go to Christkindl Market and we'll buy, like, real German nutcrackers for him, you know. Or, like, one year we got him a smoking one that, like that burns incense. And, you know, they have so many different nutcrackers now, but they're really neat, and some of them are really worth a lot of money, you know, if you get a real nice one. Well, so I don't know if he had forgotten, like, he was opening his presents and stuff, and, like, he opened that one, and he's like, dang it. He goes, I looked at all the gifts, and he goes, I didn't think I was getting a nutcracker, but he goes, I should have known I was going to get a nutcracker. So we had gotten him that one. I don't know where I got that one, but, like, I always make sure that they're different. Like, he doesn't have any two nutcrackers that are the same. They're all different. And he's got short, stocky ones, tall ones, some, like, really nice ones that are expensive ones, and like some German ones. But he really cracked up this year when he opened it, because the way I wrapped it, it didn't look like a nutcracker. And, like, he didn't think he was getting a nutcracker this year. I'm like, you should have known you were still getting a nutcracker. He will always get nutcrackers for the rest of his life. When he gets married, his wife is just going to have to, like, deal with it. She's going to have to like nutcrackers, because he's going to have a full Christmas collection of them. Even if he puts them away. I've asked him before, like, don't you want to pack those away for Christmas time? Or sometimes I'll ask him, can I display them on the piano? Like, can I borrow your nutcrackers for you know, your Christmas nutcrackers, and, like, display them all on the piano? And he'll say yeah. So I've done that before. But it is kind of funny. That's just a traditional thing between him and I, really. Not really Scott, just more so him and I. One year, when he was about 4, he wanted to play with a bunch of nutcrackers. And this was before he had, like, a lot. It was when he first really was getting into playing with nutcrackers. And so I went on, oh gosh, was it in a book I had? I don't even know. Was Pinterest around in 2009? Maybe. It was either on Pinterest, or if it was around, or I had, like, some craft book or something. Or maybe it was on a blog or something, because that's when blogs were real big. But it had how to make nutcrackers out of toilet paper rolls. And so one afternoon, we spent all afternoon making nutcrackers out of toilet paper rolls. And we, like, used old material, and we made clothes for them, and this is what I'm looking for. It's like a foam nutcracker thing. And he played with those nutcrackers until they literally fell apart. Like, he had an entire army of nutcrackers, and he played like soldiers with them. But it's funny. And, like, over the years, like, I used to, when the kids were young, I haven't done it since they've been an adult. I just ran out of time. You can't do as much stuff as you did years ago. Like when the kids were little, I made them each an ornament every single year. Whatever they were into, I made them an ornament. So like when Matt was into Pikachu, I made him a Pikachu ornament. Oh gosh, I made so many different ornaments for the kids. When he was into guitar playing, you know, he had a guitar ornament. When he graduated from 8th grade, you know, he got an 8th grade ornament, you know, that like graduation ornament. So, and some year, like as they got older into teenagers, we would just buy them ornaments. We wouldn't like necessarily make them anymore. So like I would go to Walmart, and Hunter was really into Marvel, so like or Star Wars, so I got him a Star Wars or a Marvel ornament, or you know, just kind of like themey that went along with whatever they were into. And like some years, his, like a lot of the time, his ornament was a nutcracker. And I would, I cross-stitched like a whole army of nutcrackers one year. And ornaments, like a set of ornaments. And he didn't use them as ornaments. He played with them. But they were cross-stitched, and so he's our nutcracker boy. So I think that you just glue this on. I don't even know where I got this. Probably a secondhand store. I probably saw that it was a nutcracker and was like, yep, that's definitely it. So I don't really need these. I think these are meant to be ornaments, to be honest. Okay, this is a hat for sure. Does he have any pants? Does he have any pants? Yeah, probably these green legs are pants, right? Yeah, they must be pant legs. Okay. Those are boots. That's the hat. This must go across the top like that, I'm guessing. Okay. So we're going to put this nutcracker together to use as an embellishment on this page. I like to buy, like, when I can find them at secondhand stores, little ornament kits that I can use for scrapbook embellishments. So that's what we're doing. But I love the look at, he's like explaining like that, the look on his face, he's explaining that he didn't think he was going to get a nutcracker. I'm like, you know me better than that. You're always going to get a nutcracker. As long as I'm living, you will get a nutcracker every year. But that's one reason why Scott and I like to go up to Christkindl Market in Chicago. Every few years. We'll go up there for my birthday. And we'll get a couple ornaments, and we'll get Ethan a nutcracker. They're expensive. Those German nutcrackers, like, we don't even buy like the expensive ones because they'll go all the way up to $300. But we have bought like over $100 nutcrackers before for him. But I mean, they go really up. Like if you would ever go there, and like they have German cuckoo clocks. Holy moly. Those are upwards of $600. Crazy, crazy, crazy prices. But you know, they're German, so. And some of the people there are from Germany, you can tell because of their accent. I don't know if they travel the country and like, you know, just work at those places. They always have a few people that are like actually building stuff while you're there. Like they're like working on their craft while you're there, and that's always neat to see them make stuff. I don't like that it's like smack dab downtown Chicago. It's not really my jam because there's so many people. But we always usually go Christmas shopping at Macy's, the big Macy's store downtown. We go to Christkindl Market because it's like right across the street. So that works out well. And then we usually end up eating at the Walnut Room because they have a really big tree, and that's at Macy's. So I always make a reservation pretty far in advance. Usually I have to make it like a month prior. Make sure that you get a table. Especially if you want a table by the tree. But that tree is so tall, it goes up like 5 stories. It's so big. We had the best steak we ever ate, like in our lives, in Chicago. This restaurant is closed now. But one year we went up there, went to Christkindl Market, ate at, the Walnut Room, and we went to a Broadway show for my birthday, and we made a reservation the night of the Broadway show. So we ate dinner and then we went to the Broadway show. And early December, so it's like around Christmas time, early, well, a few weeks before Christmas. And we ate at this place called Lawry's, which, if you've heard of Lawry's seasoned salt, I think it's the same Lawry's, I'm not sure. But they had a Lawry's steakhouse in Chicago. And it had been around for, oh my gosh, for 50 years or so. I mean, it was old. It was in like the older building. Beautiful venue. So pretty. Just like the architecture was just gorgeous inside. And they had prime rib, and they cut it at your table. Like they literally cut you a slab of prime rib at your table. They would like come table to table, like with this like oven, like this traveling oven thing. And then they'd cut you a slab of prime rib, and it was like literally melt in your mouth prime rib. I've never had prime rib so good in my life. And then we went to the we Uber like when we're in Chicago, because it just makes sense to park your car and like Uber downtown, because it's just, you can't ever find parking, and parking is like expensive. So you might as well just like park your car at the hotel and then Uber everywhere. So we Ubered to Lawry's, and then we Ubered from Lawry's to the Broadway show, and that was at the Oriental Theater in Chicago. That place is gorgeous. The architecture in that building is unbelievable. It is so pretty. That was really neat. Even though our tickets, we don't have a lot of money. Okay, we're not rich. And the tickets are really expensive to see a Broadway show. And so, like, our seats were, like, up toward the top. We were pretty far from the, from the stage, but like we're right in the center, so we could, I mean, you could still see what was going on. It's just, it was like You weren't up close and personal. And our tickets were still pretty expensive. If I remember right, they were like $110 a piece, and that was like for like the top row of seats, you know. I mean, they go upwards of like $300. I couldn't pay $300 for a seat for a Broadway show. I mean, I guess how it would be how bad you wanted to see it, because like when we were young, before we had kids, I mean, we had Matt, and we brought Matt with us to like Country Thunder and stuff like that when we'd go to these like country western music festivals. He was free because he was under 5, and we would see, like, you saw like lots of big stars. Like we saw Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, we saw Kenny Chesney one year, Reba McEntire, oh my gosh, Clint Black, like numerous people, Chris Ledoux, Brooks and Dunn. We saw so many people, and we went 3 years in a row because we were really into it. We saw John Michael Montgomery because that was my husband's favorite that year. And that's the first year that we went because I wanted to surprise him, to see him in person. And I bought VIP tickets. And so we had we didn't have front row seats that year. We had like 13th row seats, but I mean, we were still close enough. We were kind of on the side, so we actually got to dance to him singing because they had like a dance area in the VIP section, and all your food is included, all your drinks. So people would get really drunk because your alcohol wasn't included, and Scott and I didn't really drink that much, so it wasn't a big thrill to us with the alcohol, but it was nice to have like your food and your drinks included. And then you got decent seats too for the whole thing, for the whole weekend. And the food was pretty good. It was like served in the VIP area, and it was under a big tent. It was like all catered food, but it was still really good. And so we, I think I paid like $200 a piece for those tickets the first year that we went. And then you could get a really big discount if you bought your tickets for the next year at the festival. So Scott wanted to go the next year because they already had like the lineup of who was going to play the next year. And so Scott wanted to do it, and he ordered second row tickets. And so we were second row center for 2 years in a row. And we got to know the couple in front of us who also went every year. And so we became friends with them, and they really liked Matt. They just thought Matt was cool. And so we would bring Matt with us, and we really didn't have any problems, like really bringing a kid there. The only problem that we had, like there were 2 issues that I did not like being up so close, is that people would come from the back, and then like we paid a lot of money for our tickets. Our tickets were like $400 a piece, like insane amount of money. But like I said, we were young and we had more money, you know, because we didn't have really any bills, and we just had Matt. So like we would pay like $800 for both of us, and then Matt was free, and he got free food and everything too. Everybody like 5 and under is free. And so people from the back row of the VIP section, they had to be in the VIP section to even get in that area. But people like who didn't pay as much for their tickets would come to the front, and then the people in the front couldn't see. They couldn't see like the stage very well because the people and the security wasn't all that great. Like they'd tell people to go to the back, but they wouldn't like enforce it really. So then people were like standing in front and like blocking your view when you paid a lot of money for your ticket. So that was kind of annoying. But what are you going to do about it? I mean, you don't want to start a fight with somebody, especially when people have been drinking, you know. I don't know if I should put that there or if I should. But the second thing was the couple behind us got really wasted, like really, really wasted. And it was during the Brooks and Dunn concert. And they started fighting. It was a couple, and they started fighting behind us and shoving, like, we were in like these cheap like lawn chairs, like the plastic kind that just are not very durable. And so the woman got really aggressive. It wasn't really the man that got so aggressive. The woman was really aggressive. And she shoved, I had Matt on my lap. Because one thing with a child under 5, they're free, but they have to sit on your lap. You know, they don't get their own chair. And so he was on my lap. And this woman was being belligerent and loud during the concert. And then she shoves, like I don't know how it happens, but she shoves her boyfriend or husband or whatever into my chair, spills her beer in our bag. Like my entire bag is like coated in beer. We had souvenirs in there, like not even kidding. Knocks my cup out of my hand, breaks it. And you know, the cups are not cheap. Like if you're going to get like an additional, like a collector's cup, like you have to pay for the collector's cup. And just drunk as snot. And security made her leave because like they saw what was going on. Like we were in the second row, they were in the third row. And Matt could have really gotten hurt. Like literally could have gotten hurt because when she shoved the chair, I had Matt on my lap and we were sitting down. And like she just like slammed him into her boyfriend into our chair. And oh, that's an ornament. Why did I put it upside down? And I just gave her the dirtiest look. Like I didn't want to cause a scene. I didn't want to start a fight. Scott spoke up. Scott was like, "What are you doing?" And her boyfriend's like, she's wasted or whatever. She doesn't know what she's doing. And security's like, you need to get her under control. Otherwise she needs to go. And the boyfriend's like, I know, you know. But that could have totally been avoided had like somebody come up to them like when they were arguing, you know, during the concert. But after that, we did not renew our ticket after that. Like that was the last time. That was the last year we went. Because that kind of left a bad taste in our mouth. That like nobody offered to like buy us a new like collector cup or anything like that. They just were like, you know, too bad, so sad type of thing. And that kind of annoyed me. That like, you know, they let people get drunk and like just act that way. I put Ethan's nutcrackers. But that was like our vacation every year for 3 years. And then we just never, and then I probably, well, did we have Hunter the next year? No, we didn't have Hunter for like a few. Matt was 8 when we had Hunter, so but that just kind of burnt us out of that whole ordeal. We just are inexperienced, like, festival goers where, you know, we didn't expect anything to happen like that. We had been there a couple of years, you know, never had an issue. And then, like, that third time's a charm. But the first year I got to meet the guy who sang the song that was in our wedding. That was neat. That was neat. That was really precious because I didn't know he was going to be there. And I had originally got the tickets for Scott because I knew John Michael Montgomery was going to be there. And that was Scott's favorite. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to get this for Scott, you know. And then when we got there, there were signs all over of who was playing. We just knew, like, some of the big stars that were going to be there, like Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, Alan Jackson, those kind of people. And the song that was in our wedding was called I Do. And I don't remember the name of the singer anymore. I don't remember what his name is. That's terrible. But he was like a one-hit wonder. So that song, like, went viral. Well, it wasn't viral back then. That's not what they called it back then. But, like, it was on it was on CMT all the time, the song. And I love that song. And so we had someone sing it at our wedding. And then I found out when we got there that he was going to be there. He's a Canadian singer. And that was a neat surprise. But they had a meet and greet that you could pay extra for. And Scott paid for the meet and greet so I could actually meet him. And that was really neat. And I got to talk to him for a little bit. And he said that, and I told him that, like, his song was, like, at our wedding, we had him, you know, and I got a picture taken with him. And, and he said that, like, him and his wife got married that year too, the same year that Scott and I got married. Because he was like, what month did you get married in? And I told him on Valentine's Day we got married. And he's like, oh, he goes, we got married in March. He's like, we were married like exact, or a month after you guys. So that was cool. A really nice guy though. Probably around our age. Like, I mean, we were in our 20s then. So he was in his 20s. But that was a really neat experience. But we had a couple experiences meeting, like, country western singers, like, because we were so close to the front. Like, Matt was able to give Faith Hill a rose. Like, they had, like, flowers you could, like, you could buy, you know, like, for $1 or $2 or whatever. I think they were like $2. And then the star would, like, come down and walk, you know, across, and then you could, like, hand them the flower. And so Matt gave her a flower, and she took it from him, and I was able to get a picture of her taking the flower from Matt. He was actually in one of the shows with Bill Engvall, the comedy shows. Matt was standing up right at the gate, like front row, kind of in the middle. It was during the daytime, And like I said, the front row people were our friends. They got to, you know, we got to know them and they became our friends. So he was standing up like kind of in front of them while we were sitting down. We were all watching Bill Engvall, and they always asked like if he wanted to come sit up front by that, you know, in the front row by them, because like they were just one row ahead of us. And we always ate with them. Like we would meet them like in the morning. We stayed at a hotel. They camped. Like you could camp there, but we always stayed in a hotel. So we'd meet them for breakfast, and then we had like, because they gave us 3 meals with the VIP. And I don't even remember their names. I do have pictures of them in my scrapbook somewhere, of that whole like Country Thunder, like all the Country Thunder trips and stuff. I think his name was Jim. I can't remember what her name was. But even after Country Thunder, like we would send each other Christmas cards. We kind of lost touch after a while because she said that her and him broke up. Like one year at Christmas time, she's like that they broke up, and we hadn't been to Country Thunder in years. You know, I think I had already had Hunter by that time, because like they sent us a baby gift. They sent Matt Christmas presents. I mean, they really like, they became pretty good friends of ours. But there's no K. There's no K. What can I make a K with? I can make a K with an I. Is there an I? Yeah. Okay, you're gonna see how I piece letters together. But so Bill Engvall was doing a show, and Matt was standing up there, and I have a picture of this too in the scrapbook. And Matt is leaning up against the fence, you know, where the like the security fence, in the front row, in front of our friends, and Matt's wearing a cowboy hat, but he's not wearing a shirt. So he's like wearing like jean shorts, no shirt, and a little cowboy hat. And he looked adorable. Like he's 5. He's just this, and it's hot. So of course, you know, no one ever, and it was like, it was the 90s. No one ever said anything about, you know, people not wearing shirts or whatever back then. But Bill Engvall just like was in a show, and he was doing his spiel or whatever, and he started talking to Matt, and like just brought him right into the show, asking him questions, asked him how old he was, what his favorite part of the trip was, you know, just going on and on with Matt. And like he would joke with him, like we'd think he was done like joking with Matt, and then all of a sudden he'd go back and he'd and everybody was just laughing, you know, because little kids, they come up with the funniest answers, you know, to questions. And like he would, like Bill Engvall was like right on top of it, and just like just said the funniest things, and just like brought it right into the comedy act. And it was quite the experience, an experience that we'll never forget for sure. So that was cool, and we got a lot of pictures. Like I took a lot of pictures while Bill Engvall was talking to Matt. That was like, we didn't have a camcorder back then. Like that was 1990. Well, it would have been 1998. Matt was 5. It would have been 1998. But I think my parents had a camcorder back in 1998, but We did not. So all we had was pictures. I kind of miss those times sometimes, you know, before like smartphones. You know, when everybody had flip phones and the Motorola phones. I had a slide phone too. Like I went from I think I started out with like a Motorola type phone or a Nokia or something like that. And then that was like our first like cell phone through Verizon. And then we went to a flip phone. And Scott had a pager when I met him. Like that's how we communicated with each other, is we would page. I would page him at work and then he'd call me back. And then after that I had a slide phone, which was like this like full like alphabet like thing so you could text. That was when texting was in, because I remember with the Motorola you could text, but it was like you had to like push the button like 3 times for like S, or I don't know, like 1 time for A, 2 times for B, 3 times for C. Like it took a long time, so like your texts were not like long text because it took forever. But the slide phone had a full alphabet, like a keypad, and it would slide open, but it was not a smartphone. And then my next phone after that was a iPhone, and I think it was an iPhone 4 was my first one. I don't know, iPhone 3 or 4. And then I had an iPhone all the way up until 2 years ago, when I decided to switch to a Android because it was cheaper. And I regret it, like totally regret it, because, well, another reason why I switched was because I kept getting hacked on my iPhone. Like people were able to like really hack me bad on my iPhone. And although this last time I got hacked, I was on my Android, so go figure, right? But the iPhone took way better pictures than what my Galaxy phone does. But like we haven't had Verizon in a few years. We switched over to Sprint, and then that became T-Mobile. T-Mobile bought it out. So we've had T-Mobile for a while, and we never went with AT&T. I don't know why. We just never had AT&T. I think we had AT&T for something. Or maybe we didn't. I don't know. I don't know why we never had AT&T. Maybe it was because there wasn't an AT&T in town or something. I don't know. Is there no ends? I don't have an N either. Well, gosh darn. What can I do to make an N? N is even harder to make than. Of course, I would pick red here. How's that? Here's another one. I guess I didn't have to make a K. I have a whole nother sheet. I might take off that homemade K and do this. There. So, I mean, that vacation was nice. I miss going to Lake Geneva. That's where I was held. Oh my gosh, one of the best places in the world. love Lake Geneva. I mean, it's total tourist town, but we didn't do like Country Thunder the whole time we were there. I mean, that was a big, but if artists were playing and we weren't interested in seeing them, we would tour Lake Geneva. And we went on the old boat ride. Like, they had these really old boat rides. There was like a zoo. We rode horses. They had like a horseback riding place. So that was cool too. I want to kind of journal on this page, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna put a little card here, or maybe I have a little notepad. Maybe I'll just take a little piece of this notepad so I can journal a little bit on here. Do I want to do that? Or do I? That's kind of ivory though. Oh, I could do it like a tag. Do I have any red ones? But that was a fun vacation. I mean, spot that we went to. I would highly recommend Lake Geneva for a family trip. But like I said, it's a tourist place. Lately though, like, our vacations have really consisted of like visiting, well, almost every, like a couple times a year I go to Arizona, which I never thought I would do because I am deathly afraid of heights. So like flying, I didn't fly for, gosh, 15 years. I didn't fly. Our honeymoon to Arizona, like, we flew for that, and I swore to God, I was like, I am never flying again. Like, that was such an awful experience. Definitely not my favorite. And then 9/11, you know, and I was like, I'm never flying again. Like, so I didn't fly after our honeymoon, and then I definitely didn't want to fly after 9/11. And then our son moved to Arizona, and then like, if I was gonna see my son, I had to grin and bear it and fly there. And since then I have flown multiple times. And so that's kind of like the way that we get around now, is through flying, even though I hate it every single time. I try to sleep on the flights because I don't like to think about it. Once I'm off the ground, then I'm just kind of like, you know, just praying that we land and safely and all that jazz, but not my favorite mode of transportation, for sure. Okay, so the next pages are going to be, okay, so I have this page that is basically, did I punch this one? I don't think I punched it. I was planning on using it and never punched it because I think I couldn't find my hole punch at the time, but I definitely want to use this, even if it's just for like a divider page. Oh, this came out of that grab bag I got for National Scrapbook Day. That's why it's not punched. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this so I can get this in here just as a decorative element. It's not gonna be I mean, I might put a sticker on it. I don't know, it depends. If I have a big sticker, I could do it kind of like right in the middle. definitely not there, but so this was Christmas gift wish, and then I was gonna do like a shaker in there. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. No, I don't know if I'm gonna use that one. So if I do the next one as, this is at night, that's the pizza. We could do Corbin on this penguin paper. And this is night, this is night, this is night, this is night. Okay, so that's all night right there. So we just got to get through all of this. And then we're getting there. This one isn't punched either. Was this one of those? I think so. Do I want him on here? Or here? Probably here. All right, where's this? Okay, we're gonna do this again. Is it already dark outside? Not really. I don't have any idea what time it is or how long this video is. But I'm bound and determined to get it done, no matter how long it takes. So bear with me. If you want to watch this in intervals, or if you get tired of watching me, sorry about that, but I want this done. I am so done. So done with my December daily. Its time is up. That is a fact. Okay, so we have Jordan holding Corbin's remote control. Corbin at this stage at Christmas last year he would steal the remote control and he would hide it. So a couple times, like at their house and at our house, there were times we could not find the remote control to turn on the TV. And thank goodness that Amazon has extra Samsung remotes that you can buy that are identical to the remote that goes to our TV. So we have extras. We have bought extras because at this time he was extremely interested in remote controls. So I found a teether remote control that looks like a real remote control, but it's actually a teether. And we got him that for Christmas, and she thought it was funny that we found it, because they had remotes, but they just didn't look like remotes. You know, it's kind of nice when you can find one that actually looks like a remote but is a toy. So that was one of his Christmas gifts this year. One year we bought Kason a cell phone that looked exactly like a real cell phone too, like a smartphone, because he was into phones. And so we bought Kason a phone to trick him. I don't know how well it worked, but one thing Kason would do is he would take our hand, like he would have the remote, and like if he wanted to change the channel, he would grab our hand and he would put the remote in our hand, and then he'd fold our hand over it, like change the channel, because Kason was nonverbal. So he was starting to talk. Like Jordan says that she thinks that Corbin learned to count to 10 from Kaysen, because Kaysen was learning to count to 10. And, you know, he could, and Kaysen was all about numbers. Like, numbers were his favorite thing. So, so she thinks that Kaysen taught Corbin how to count to 10. Because Corbin can count to 10, and he is not even 2. He's what, 20 months? Okay, so this is going to be labeled like Corbin's Toys. This was his favorite shape sorter too, and I bought 2 of those. I have one at home, and then he has his at home. But the one at home that I have, I use with my clients, because it's one that it's no error, so they can all, like, they all fit on in the same way. You don't have to like have like some of them are where they have to go in a specific order, which I do use those too. I have a couple of those too, and I use them with the kids that have already like mastered that. So we're here for a good time, not a long time. All right, what other cards do we have here? We have stickers. We can use this 25 for this one. Just gotta find what to go with it. So Ethan has been taking testosterone. And, like, I've been giving him shots, and, like, he's been really vague about, like, where he got, like, he said he got it from a doctor, you know, and I thought, well, where are you getting your blood drawn? Where are you going? Like, who prescribed you this and all this stuff? And, so then today, like, I was putting the stuff in the shot and stuff so he could give it to himself. And, like, I guess it's a real doctor, I hope. I mean, but I said, where did you hear about, like, he said that the doctor was out of a different state, Arizona, I think. And I said, where did you hear about this doctor? And he said, well, a lot of the guys at the gym use this, like, they take this from this doctor, like he's like for sports people, like weightlifters and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, don't worry, you know, it's, you know, and it is testosterone. Like, I mean, it says right on the bottle, it's, you know, it is a prescription because it has his name on it, and it's not like somebody else's prescription. And I know you can order like medicine online, you know. I'm a big one to talk because like the semaglutide that I take came from Mexico. You know, my mom and dad bought it for me in Mexico. But, you know, what I do and what my kid does is 2 different things, as far as I'm concerned. But he's an adult, you know, he's 21. Well, and then he went into a little bit more detail, and he's like, well, this is supposed to be better than taking steroids. And I'm like, oh, so you're taking it to like bulk your muscles? Is that what you're doing? And he's like, yeah, kind of, but it's better for you than steroids. I'm like, okay, I have not heard that. You know, I have not heard about like testosterone taking testosterone that way. I mean, Scott has taken testosterone over the years because he has like low testosterone. I don't know if Ethan's testosterone is actually low or if like they have him taking additional testosterone, but I'm like, what are the long-term effects of this? You know, because I have no idea. I didn't know it was a thing. I mean, and I asked him, I said, are there guys that you work out with that take like steroids? And he's like, yeah, some guys do. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, he's 21. I guess I can't really, I do worry about the long-term effects though. Like I mean, like I said, I'm one to talk because I'm taking, and I don't think it works all that well, to be honest. Like for me anyway. I mean, I think I lost a significant amount more weight, like, from exercise than just from like, you know, maybe this medication is intended to exercise with, but it makes me so sick that like I took it 2 days ago, didn't feel good. Like I took it on Saturday, didn't feel real good. Haven't taken it since Saturday. But I'm not eating more. I mean, like it still like makes me not hungry. I mean, I just don't feel sick. But I also don't lose weight either. Like I don't lose additional weight when I do that. When I don't take it. I don't know. It must do something besides curb your appetite. It must have something in it like that speeds up your metabolism or something. I don't know. But I'm not going to order it again. I mean, I'm not going to have my parents get it again for me. Just because I'm not real sure about the long-term effects of that either. I don't, you know, taking diabetic medication when you're not diabetic is kind of scary. But my friend Angie did it and she lost like a ton of weight. Oh my gosh, she lost so much weight. But I don't understand how she was, but she was diabetic. I mean, or she said she was diabetic. I don't know necessarily if she was or if she is, or I've never seen her have to take insulin or like test her blood sugar or anything. So I don't know. I think some people just say that they're diabetic so people won't like question like their choice. But I know I'm not because my doctor prescribed me this medication and my insurance wouldn't pay for it because I wasn't diabetic, because he had me tested and my GLP was normal. My triglycerides were normal. He said, even if you're borderline, you know, you may qualify. I wasn't even borderline. It sucks. But, you know, I told my mom about it, and she's like, well, your aunt takes it, and she lives on the Mexican border, so she can just go in the pharmacy and get it. And I was like, you're kidding me. And she's like, no. She's like, it's a lot cheaper too. And she's like, we're actually going to go visit her. Do you want us to run across the border to Mexico and get this? But this was like prior to like Trump being, well, no, Trump was in office, but it was prior to like the whole lockdown, like, you know, with the I don't know, like, if someone would be arrested. I don't know if they're, like, pickier now, like, if you cross the border with medication from there, then, but they never said anything to Mom and Dad. And Mom and Dad mailed it to me. So, I don't like the way it makes me feel, though. It really, like, I mean, the only reason why you're not hungry is because you feel like you're going to barf all the time. Some horrible stuff. And like I said, I don't think it works out well for me. Because, and I am not an overeater. Like, I don't, but maybe I'm not eating enough food. Like, sometimes I find that, like, I skip meals because I'm so used to doing the intermittent fasting that I forget that I'm not doing intermittent fasting, and then, and I forget to eat. And I don't, like, lose additional weight or anything like that. I think that because I'm older and because, like, you know, I've probably hit menopause by now. I mean, I don't know. They say that, like, you don't actually hit menopause until, like, you haven't had a cycle in an entire year. And, like, I've had 3 this year so far. I mean, they've definitely dwindled down. Like, I don't get them every month. I only get them, like 3 or 4 times a year. But the last one that I had was when I was in the hospital, actually, in February. Like, the day I came home from the hospital, I got my period. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I don't know. But I'm definitely, you know, there. I'm definitely at that point where, like, it's harder to lose weight because it's, like, hormonally. And I do take estrogen. Like, I do have, like, topical estrogen that I, like, put on in the insides of my elbows and stuff. Just for, like, hot flashes. I do get hot flashes. I get, like, mood swings, that kind of stuff. Hunter's underwear. This is a funny story, too, that I'll have to tell when I do my journaling. On the top of Hunter's Christmas list were Under Armour underwear. And I asked him, why Under Armour underwear? He's like, because they are the best. I'm like, well, how are they the best? He goes, well, last year you bought me Under Armour underwear, and he goes, I love them. They are the best, most comfortable underwear that I've ever worn. And he wears boxer briefs. So we went to Scheels, and I bought him a package of Under Armour underwear for Christmas. And it's like a 3 or 4 pack, $35. $35 underwear. And I'm like, okay, well. So he opens it, and he's like, he's showing Jordan. He's like, ha, I got it. I'm like, that proves that you're a grown up when you get excited about new underwear. So it's gifts like that like I continue buying every year. Like, if I know that my kids really like something, like, you know, because everybody wants to be comfortable, you know, and you have a preference, you know, you have a preference of, like, what are your favorite underwear? What are your favorite, you know, your favorite brand of shoes, or your favorite, you know, whatever it is, you know. I mean, I have my favorites too. So like at Christmas time, if I'm gonna buy like stuff like that, it's but like only a mom can buy underwear for her kid. Like you can't, like, I don't know. I guess how a wife can, like, but like it's not something like a girlfriend or a friend would buy a friend underwear. It's a mom thing. A mom thing or a wife thing, I guess. I'm gonna put Elf was here. So I'll put Hunter here. And then I'll put like this there. But he got all excited about that. And we bought him jeans too, because Hunter goes through jeans very quickly. That guy, okay, ever since he was a little kid, he has never had a butt. Like, never had a butt. And so his pants notoriously fall down. And he has a plumber's bum. Like that poor kid, like, you can see his butt crack. Like, ever since he was like 3 years old, you could see this kid's butt crack. Because there's nothing to hold his pants up. Nothing, ever. And still, it's that way as a man. Like, he still has that problem. And so, we try to find him things that, like, jeans that, like, will stay up. You know, even if he wears a belt, for some reason, it just does not hold his pants up. I don't know what the deal is. I feel sorry for him. But, like, I know that other men have that problem. You know, when you're built like that, it's just, there's nothing you can really do. So I think he likes these underwear because these underwear stay up good. And, like if he bends over and, like, his pants are, like, slightly falling down, his underwear is covering his bum. So what should I put? Commemorate comfort. Oh, that's hilarious. These are right next to each other. Might as well. Commemorate comfort. That's funny. But Hunter said when we went to a cookout at their house last weekend, a few days ago. And then we walked uptown for to get some ice cream at this little ice cream shop in their town. And Hunter was making fun of Ethan because Ethan has always made fun of Hunter because he is like, he's 23 and he is like losing hair, like a lot of hair on top of his head. And you know, it's my family's fault because apparently that comes from the mom's side of the family. And my dad went bald really young, so that's not surprising. My dad was losing his hair when he was Hunter's age or younger. And then well, now Hunter was laughing with Dustin because Dustin was there. Ethan didn't come with us because he had to work that night, and he works third shift, so he didn't want to, like, that's his bedtime, so he was sleeping during that. And Hunter was joking with Dustin about how karma is, because, you know, Ethan picked on him for so many years for losing hair, and now Ethan's losing hair. And Ethan's losing hair at a faster rate than Hunter. But I don't know if that has anything to do with taking additional testosterone. Would that make you lose hair faster? I don't know, because I don't recall his hair, like, being so thin before he started this testosterone, so I don't know. I mean, I've heard of people who take like steroids losing their hair at a faster rate, because I went to high school with a guy, Sean Hughes, and I went to college with him. Like, he went to UWSP with me, and he took steroids. Like, he took steroids in college. So he was like really bulked up. He wasn't bulked up in high school, but he was bulked up in college. And he just had like a band of hair around his head. Like, he lost it fast, like within a year or two. He had lost like a considerable amount of hair, and someone told me, because I was like, oh, what happened to his hair? And someone said he's taking steroids, and that's why he's losing his hair. Should I put undies? Christmas undies. But I get concerned when guys work out and then they don't like know a lot. They just listen to other workout guys like about like what you should do, and it kind of scares me, because it's like, do they really know what the like long-term effects of this stuff is? You know, I don't know. Like, what does it do to your fertility? You know, like, will it affect his fertility down the road? It's just, I told him, like, you need to talk to Dr. Avi about it, because it's like, he could, like, if you really need testosterone, he would prescribe it to you, and it would be covered under insurance instead of paying like $300 for a bottle of testosterone that you take once a week. From some doctor that, you know, I don't know who this doctor is. I would rather have him get it from, you know, a doctor that I know, you know, it's a legit doctor. I don't know what kind of doctor this is that can prescribe this. Okay. So should I just do Xmas Sundays? Probably could do that. I don't know if anybody abbreviates Christmas anymore like this. When I was a kid in school, the teacher always used Xmas, but I haven't seen it used very much. I mean, I've abbreviated it this way a few times, but just because it fits better on the page. But I don't know where that abbreviation ever came from, but it's been around, like, definitely from the 70s, because I remember my teacher using it, or teachers. There. Christmas undies. And then I was going to put 25. Did I do? Oh, I have 25 there. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so that page is done. That's decorated enough. I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, let's get this done. Let's get this done. Okay. I do want to use these with something because I just love them. I love the buffalo check. Maybe I can use it with this page. Ooh, that would be pretty with this page, wouldn't it? Like if I did something like this. If I put little Corbin there, that would be cute. This little dinosaur pajamas. I have no idea what time it is. I'm hoping that this... we are already at 2 hours. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Oh my gosh. This may have to... This will never upload if I'm going to do this to 3 hours and that's it. So 20 more minutes. And that is it. And if I don't get it done today, I can get it done tomorrow. Although tomorrow is a really busy day. I see the most clients tomorrow. But I have Friday off. Thursday, I have 2 clients. Tomorrow's the only day I have 4 clients, so. Did I even? No, I need to text one of my clients. I missed one that I see tomorrow. I think. Or do I see her Thursday? No, I see her Thursday. Okay, so I see 3 clients on Thursday. I don't think I see her tomorrow. I see her on alternating days every week and it gets confusing sometimes because of her parents' work schedule. And it's like, I need to look at my planner, make sure that I have the right day, because usually I will text them the day before to confirm. And I've texted everybody and everybody's confirmed, but I just thought of her and I'm like, is she tomorrow? If she's tomorrow, I need to text. But she's later in the day, so I could probably just text in the morning and it would be fine. I don't want to text too late at night. So if she is tomorrow, but I see her every week, so but if I do see her on Thursday, then that's 3. If I see her tomorrow, I swear she's tomorrow. I'm pretty sure she's tomorrow. I think I saw her last Thursday. Shoot. I don't know how I missed not texting them, but I have time tomorrow. All right. Corby chewing on his hammer. I sing this song that's kind of, I don't know why I sing it to him. And like, it's so funny. I just made it up. But it's kind of like, it's part of an old nursery rhyme. But I put his name in it. And I don't know if it's even appropriate to sing it. But I just have been singing it to him since he was really little. And I go, Corby, Corby, puddin' and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys went out to play, Corby, Corby ran away. So I don't know if it's exactly appropriate for, like, to sing that about my grandchild, but it's kind of funny. We have all kinds of nicknames in our family. Kason was Squishy. He was Scrunchy. That was his nickname for the longest time. Scott still calls him Scrunchy sometimes. We started calling him Scrunchy because we started watching him when he was a newborn. And he had that newborn scrunch, you know. And so we started calling him Scrunchy. And Poppy still calls him Scrunchy. I call him Corby. I love that name so much. When Jordan and Hunter said, you know, it's like, it's unique. It's not one that you hear all the time. But when Hunter and Jordan said they were going to name him Corbin, I just was like, I was so over the moon. Like, that was like the perfect name. I don't know why. It's not a name that I ever like thought of naming my own kids, you know? But it's a name that like once they said it, I was like, oh, I'm in love with that name. It's kind of like when Matt and Yessie told me they were going to name Aria Aria. I just love that name too. Aria Rose. I don't really have a nickname for her. I don't know why. I just always call her Aria. I mean, I've always called Esme Princess. I mean, I guess Aria is my princess too. She's my little princess too. But I know Matt and Yessie call her mamas. I don't know why. It must be something that some people like call their daughters. I don't know. I've heard people say it before. Like they say, "Ha, mamas," or "Yeah, mama loves you, mamas." You know. I don't know. I never had a girl, so I don't know. But I know that Yessie calls her mamas or mama. Or sis. I've heard like people say sis too. I think Jordan calls Esme sis sometimes. She'll be like, "How you doing, sis?" Or, you know. I don't know. But like you call, like I call Scott Poppy when the grandkids are over. Like I don't call him Scott. I call him Poppy. And when the kids were little, like I called him Dad. I'd be like, you know, "Hey Dad, go do this," or, you know. And he called me Mom. You know, it was just like a term that we used because that's what the kids called us. But I don't know. It's interesting, the nicknames that you use. But my family has always been big into nicknames. Like my mom and dad have always either called me Sunshine or Cinderella. Jenny was always Jenny Wren, or Rennie was what they called her. I don't know what Kenny was. What'd they call Kenny? Kenny never really had a nickname. Anne was Annie Banana, or Annie Banani, or Anna Banana. I think that's cute. And then we just need like something to put 25 on our Christmas. Do I have another Christmas number? Here's a 25. Let's cut this 25 out. Ethan's nickname's always been Nene, because that's Hunter couldn't say Ethan, so he said Nene and or Neen, and so that just kind of stuck with Ethan. Matt has always been Thu, because that's what Joe always, like, from the time Matt was born, Joe called him Thu. And because we were okay when I wanted to name him Matthew, Joe did not like that. He thought they're going to call him Matt. They're going to tease him and call him doormat or placemat, or, you know, like, they're going to make fun of his name. And I'm like, well, we just won't ever call him Matt. We'll call him Matthew, you know, because I like the name Matthew. I don't particularly like the name Matt. And so Scott's like, Joe, when Matt was a baby, he said, I know, we'll call him Thu. We'll call him Thu for short instead of Matt. So Joe is always called Matt Thu. Like, he still calls Matt Thu. And sometimes I call him Thu, just like as a term of endearment. But like always happens, you know, everyone calls him Matt now, you know. I still call him Matthew most of the time just because I love his name. I think Matthew Joseph is a beautiful name. Matthew will always be my favorite name out of all boys' names. And then Matt named Hunter, and I can't remember what was Hunter's middle or nickname. Oh, Buggy. We always called him Hunter Bug, Huggy Buggy, Bug. I still call him Bug. I don't call him Huggy Buggy very often anymore, because that's kind of weird to call an adult child Huggy Buggy, but that was probably the name that we most used for him, was Huggy Buggy when he was little. But now I normally just call him Bug. He's my Bug. I just remember when Hunter was 2, and he would go around the house saying, Hunter 2, Hunter 2. He'd yell it at us. Like when we'd like correct him, like if he was doing something naughty, you know, we'd say, Hunter, no. He'd be like, he'd point at us and he'd go, Hunter 2. Like that made some difference. I don't know. But it would crack us up. And so, like, when Esme turned 2, I laughed because I was like, Esme 2. We'll probably do the same thing with Corbin. Corbin 2. He's going to be 2 in September. It's hard to believe. He's already going to be 2. And this guy we call Sweet Cheeks. He's always been Sweet Cheeks. From day one. From day one when we met him for the first time, he has been Sweet Cheeks. Or MJ. We call him MJ too because his name is Jordan, and Jordan is my daughter-in-law, his mom, so it's like, how do you tell Jordan and Jordan, you know? So we just call him MJ or Mini J or Mini Jordan or Little Jordan, or, but as he gets older, we say MJ a lot because that sounds, you know, like older. He's 11 now, so he's getting tall. He's hard to carry. He's not very heavy. He probably weighs about 70 pounds. He's gained a lot of weight, though. Like, he was up until his surgery, his Nissen surgery. Or Nesson surgery. Nissen or Nesson? One of the two. His gastro surgery. he was really skinny, and he was weighing like 40 pounds. He was like failure to thrive, like so skinny. And like someone actually called DCFS on Jordan because it was someone at the school saying that she was starving him to death. And that ticked us off because he was under the care of a pediatric gastroenterologist who kept saying that Jordan was fine, that it was okay that Jordan was throwing up all the time. And we kept saying, no, it's not. And because he would throw up his food, like every feed he would throw up. And the pediatric gastroenterologist was like, you know, some kids just throw up. And we knew something was wrong. We were like, something is not right. So Jordan, she had tried to get into this other gastroenterologist for the longest time that specialized in kids with special needs. And he used to see Lainey, her daughter, before she passed away, but she could never get Jordan in to see him. Well, she called and begged him, like, to just take a look at Jordan. She said, can you please just take a look at him? Because something's wrong, and I don't know what's wrong. And, you know, he's just getting sicker and sicker and losing more weight. He was like 9 years old and weighed 40 pounds. It was, you could tell that there was something wrong. And like DCFS had opened a case on Jordan because of it, and it was unfair. It was unfounded, you know. But that doctor, the special needs doctor, he said he needs surgery. He needs immediate, like, emergency surgery. And because his food is not, it's getting trapped in his belly, and it's just coming back up. With the Nissen surgery, it prevents him from throwing up the food. And so he had the Nissen surgery, and he has not, like, he will throw up every once in a while, but very rarely does he throw up. And he has gained like 30 pounds in 2 years. But he's tall, like he's almost as tall as I am. He's over 4 feet tall for sure. And it's hard to carry him because he is so tall. It's not that he's like really that heavy. It's just that he's super tall. It's not hard for Scott. I mean, Scott usually carries him and does most of the stuff. Like, he dresses him and takes care of his needs mostly. I mean, I still take care of his needs too, but like more so than I do, Scott does, because it's just easier for him to do it. He's taller and stronger and all that stuff. I usually take care of the little kids, and he takes care of Minnie J. But I mean, I feed Minnie J.